start to the day, and we were right to be cautiously optimistic and still not quite confident in the fact that we're going to do the opposite of XDC. We talked about it yesterday in the weekly, and we had a nice candle going up, but the week before XDC seemingly pulled the same stunt and then reversed it into a very bearish weekly candle. And now this week, XDC's fallen off the cliff, and it seemingly looks like the rest of crypto is trying to follow. And like with XRP, we can see, and we're not broken down the barrier of all barriers, but like if we ended up breaking $2.04, it's going to be pretty interesting. We came down to it once, came back up into the classic retest on a breakdown if we can't get any volume. But this is that weekly reversal it turned into, like with XLM. And if you look at XDC just a week prior, it did the same thing. Look at this candle. It's remarkable. On the 29th, had a nice push up to that resistance area. Came in here with the reversal and now down to the support area, which it looks like it's just going to break right through it, likely, if the market does what it's doing. Now XLM, the push up, the reversal candle. Does that mean next week now this just follows suit? Like if we go into, it's crazy when you actually look at it, because we were talking about it before it reversed into a reversal. Look, if this pulls down, this is like XRP. If this were to pull down, now all of a sudden this would be a reversal candle to end the week. And if XRP just pulls down here, it too would have a reversal candle to end the week if it comes down to like $2.02 or so. So are we getting ready for a shitstorm? Are they giving us the false illusion of an inverted pattern because it is what it is? The one thing I know is the trend is your friend, and right now we're in a downtrend. So when I don't know if it's going to go up or down until the downtrend breaks, which we're in, I always pick down. I always think it's going to go down, and we're in that moment. So until the pattern proves otherwise, I feel like, it's like we said yesterday. Can we go up? We could, and we could come up and try to resist, but the problem is we've built that descending triangle formation, and that resistance at $2.40 roughly, that actually might have put the nail in the coffin. I know a lot of people are asking me, like, I'm getting confused about your Facebook post. Facebook's completely separate from YouTube. There's a little more satire in it. I can't just do the same thing on Facebook. It wouldn't be worth it because it gets boring to do the same thing over and over. But the message remains. Everything I post is for a reason. Everything I post is for a reason. There might be a little bit of fun and games in it, but everything is for a reason. And if you're not following the Facebook page, it's starting to get a lot of viewers now. The 12th, it had 101,000 views. The 13th, 114,000. The 14th, 121,000. I know how to reach a wider base. I could do it on YouTube. I just want to keep the right base on YouTube. So I'm going to use that skill on Facebook and see where it takes me. So if you want to follow all of that, there's a lot of insight on there as well. But for reference point, it's Thursday, January 15th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of again, where we got between 5 and 6 inches of snow, surprisingly. The weather outlets were not calling for snow, and we got about 6 inches of snow. So my son does not have school. It's like 9 degrees outside as well, so it's pretty damn cold. But it's nice, 6 inches of snow. I'll do this because a lot of people that aren't in the snow belts or see what snow is like, you guys want me to do this all the time. So here, I'll give you a look out the front window real quick. Where the hell's my camera? There you go. Okay. Now we can get back to business. I always promise everybody, because I always ask that when we get snow, I'll show you the snow. We got snow. We did get snow. But welcome, and everybody. I do appreciate all of you. I really, really do. Really, really do. But we got to get to serious business here. If this does in fact break down, the next area we need to talk about would be right around $1.99.7 as a psychological area. There was also a CME area down there that could act as a support structure from a couple weeks ago. But that's the psychological support. But that only comes into play if we lose $2.04. It didn't come into play because we didn't lose it. Now, the interesting part is we went from $2.04 and then we went back up and back tested the prior drop and got rejected initially. So that's kind of a hairy situation. Then we go back around and we look to see how the rotation of money's going. I feel very blessed in the fact that we didn't jump the gun with oil and we're just letting it play out. And today it's kind of getting bent over, in a sense. You know, pretty hardcore, at least the last time I checked. Yeah, down 5% today. So that's a pretty interesting development here, if I may say so. That is a pretty interesting development. And I will say, silver doing remarkably well. Now that we cleared out all that space, we just might go to 107. Who knows? We cleared out a lot of space here with that big drop yesterday. We were down. Silver fell remarkably. And this is how you clear out the dead weight for a minute. I mean, it was better. It was about an 8% drop. So now if silver wants to keep the climb, I mean, that's more money that's not finding its way here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if silver's just going to dump down immediately or if it's going to keep going back up. But there's a lot of room to run with this, with all of the way they're doing things with printing money and the further devaluing of the dollar. There's going to be so much room. But for XRP, here's the bottom line. While there's still people here, because, you know, people have a lot of short minds and... Wait a minute, this guy's not saying it's going to $10,000. I'm out of here, kind of thing. Which I can kind of hammer into on Facebook with not caring who I offend. Yeah, this doesn't look good to me. Not right now. I even put a post in the Telegram last night, like, you know, this don't look good. And that's why I like that priority section, the pager. I just said, can't help but feel this market is going to follow XDC and flip this weekly candle into a reversal. Feels off, like something is going to make this market break down. Not financial advice, but could be wrong, just a feeling. And then I said, I still think before the breakdown, another layer up is more than possible with the setup. Just to at least put it out there that it is possible with the way the setup is. But as you see with the comment before that, I was putting it out there that, I don't know, it just didn't feel, and that was at 214 roughly. And now we're sitting here at 208, and I certainly don't feel any better than when I was thinking that. I actually feel worse now because now in a lot of senses, it's starting to put this reversal in. But now we have to, let's go into the metrics now. Let's go see why we could go to where we're going. And let's see what the main levels are that we need to hold. So this is still a very wide reversal pattern, possibly to the top side. It could just be clearing out some dead weight. But it could also be the start of what XDC is already doing. And the reason I say this is XDC is a very powerful component in what's coming with utility. And if XDC is dumping, there's a reason why. Especially with some of the recent news. So it's more than likely what I think is happening is XDC's tapering away from the market. I think XDC is actually decoupling the market if you watch it. And it's actually a step ahead. So on days when the market is going to correct, when we finally get out of this, XDC is going to pull a lot of weight. I can see it already. It's already starting. And I don't know if we go down 10%, 40%, wherever we get to, XDC is already starting to flip from the rest of these for the rest of these utility tokens. So, does anybody get that feeling when you're watching XDC's chart that it's kind of flipping the rest of them right now? Like in a very real way? It feels like it's starting to do that in a very real way. So when we get to where we're going, it feels like that capital could flow opposite of some and find its way into there. So what we're looking at here for XRP in the immediate short term, and I mean immediate short term, and we know that $1.99.7 psychological level. We understand that. This at 204. This is why I keep saying 204. You get below this area, actually it's about, I guess you could give it great. I don't want to give it too much. We could say 203 even, but you don't want to come too much farther down than that. I mean, you invalidate this pattern once you get down there. So you're very close, to invalidating what we're trying to build here. So you kind of got to hold this now and get some kind of volume. The second thing that you would look for, let's just say that breaks down. Let's just say this breaks down, because we've got it in many different ways where this actually comes across. And then you start looking at this. So you have 204. It extends down just a little bit. Well, it actually doesn't. This is off a little bit. Who are we fooling? Yeah. So this is basically at the break point right now. And then the other thing is this wider pattern. This is the wider descending triangle. At least on this. Looks like it, or like, it does look like a descend. And if it breaks, because it does, this is where I have the issue. I don't necessarily think we break down entirely. I think if we can clear this wick, you could still get a parabolic spike up before a breakdown. But be aware, if you come down here and break this, this is where all hell breaks loose. Because even this chart suggests, all hell would break loose. And I'm all for it. I kind of want all hell to break loose here, to be honest with you. If all hell breaks loose, we're going to have... Oh, my God. Oh, buddy. I would equate this to how precious metals broke down and miners broke down right before this 1 year parabolic spike. This would be just like July of 24 before November's breakout. This would be the coup de grace. I'm not afraid to look at the pattern differently, and that's why I'm looking at it differently. Because it doesn't feel like the volume's supporting any kind of major movement. And you guys know how I feel about the Clarity Act. I don't think it's a good news. Tom Lee's company Bitmine unveiled a $200 million investment in Beast Industries, a company founded by YouTube creator Mr. Beast. Oh, that's a horrible investment. Maybe I won't invest in his company. I don't like Mr. Beast, and I know that might rub people the wrong way. I think he's just another bit boy in a different realm, and everybody buys his candy bars and his drinks, and look what's in those things. Everybody's winning there except the people who are buying his stuff and who look up to somebody like that. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff everybody needs to look into. I'm not going to go down that road because there's a lot of slappies. So the Cannabis Podcast, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So bag. Had to feed my cat. My cat's going nuts. Go on, Ghost. There's food over there. Now you have to walk back over there. Yeah. Okay. So what we're looking here, though, if we get through that area, it's the falling wedge. That falling wedge is what everybody's going to be eyeing if this were to break down. And for good reason. It's for good reason. Because we never back tested it and we had a volatile breakout. And you could argue when we came up to the 200 in the daily, we created a head. We created a climb, take the elevator up, take the stairs, and that would be a right shoulder if this breaks down, back down to a reset. And that's why I keep saying it could extend from $1.80, but down to like $1.69. Well, technically, if it took until January 20th, it could technically get down there to like sub $1.70 just in this movement. But I want it to break down because then it back to, listen, the best way that I can put this, and I put a post on Facebook and I'll read it to you. You guys can get mad, but this is why I want it to break down. Where's this at? I put so much stuff on for this reason. So I think we're gonna have, it's for the main reasons of I don't want to read all of that. It might offend some people in my YouTube community. But the reason why is we've got a lot of short a lot of long leverage taken out. We've got a lot of different people that are just stacked up. Like a lot of people that are stacked up. We never cleared out those volatile gaps. You know, and it makes a lot of sense for this kind of stuff to happen, but you have to look for the right environment. So for that to happen, I think this is what would have to happen to clear out the liquidity now to allow for, I'm not looking for the bounce back to all-time highs. I'm trying to see how to get to $10 to $20. Like I'm legitimately trying to see how to get the $10 to $20. And the vision gets cluttered a lot because a lot of people get pissed at me because they go into the Moon Boy channels and they end up wanting it to go to $10,000 or, hey, it's got to go to $589. I've got a realistic target that we've been building for between $10 and $20. I think my cat wants to go outside. Hold on. Come on, Ghost. Yeah, my cat likes it out in the snow. It's like I can't remember the name of the cat now. Anyhow, but I'm legitimately trying to find this track to get up to those $10 to $20, and I think we have to clear out some of the space. But I do believe we're gonna get a run one day. And it's not going to take forever, but we're going to get a parabolic run up there. But things have to happen. Things have to happen. And I can see the order blocks and how much liquidity there is. And it just, there is a lot of stuff that we could clear out. There's a lot of gaps we could clear out. There's a lot of things we haven't tested yet. So I just want to make sure if we go in that direction, we have our bases covered. We also know how we can avoid this. It's just every time we try to make a move, the market just gives it back. And following XDC, and I hate to be that guy, but XDC is like, wake up. Before you guys make an entry, before you guys hold too much, before you don't, because I got a ton of liquidity right now, as I've been saying, on the sidelines. Like I don't own, even XDC is not in my portfolio right now. I even did a test on Kraken to see how it would look, and it did phenomenal at higher levels in the volatility. And I shared it with everybody, the difference. But anyhow, this is telling us something. It has to be. This can't just be the exception to the rule. So what I think is going to happen is this is going to start to play down to 3.7 when we figured it out yesterday. If this wants to keep for the real back test. And then if it doesn't hold there at 3.7, then maybe we do come to 2.2. But I really think this is leading the charge. It feels like that's what's happening because XDC looked I remember watching XDC when it had that breakout exactly like the rest of these. Unfortunately, we watch XDC, so we were able to watch this play out before the rest. And then we're like, oh, well, based on what XDC did, now the rest of the market should move up here for this next weekly. And then it's going to turn a reversal by the end of the week. And that's what we kept saying at the beginning of the week. And now it's Thursday. And now it looks like some of these are pulling the reversal. It's like XDC could be that golden note. And I still think that we're going to get a parabolic spike by the end of the year, too. Because we have the election. We have the midterms. And we're going to need to move all markets. We're going to need to move the stock market and especially crypto because there's been a lot of promises and you can't have crypto down 70. So I really do believe that this could be the consolidation phase heading into that big rally mid to late year. It could be sooner, but it all depends because all of this up and down, left and right, what does it do? It traps more people. I mean, XDC is legitimately screaming from the back room saying, what am I, chopped liver? I'm like Chapin Finance. Like everybody loves XRP, but I'm actually a little more deeply encoded into different levels because XRP is so focused within the central banks, which is enough. So is XDC to an extent, but there's different things and different layers. So if that's going down like that, it's telling us something. This isn't like, you know, a meme token going down, or a speculation on Shiba, or a speculation on XRP healthcare, or you know, how we speculate, or on any of them. I don't believe XDC is being speculated. I don't think there's speculation there. And that's the problem right now, Frankie Fresh. That's why I keep talking the way I've been, more bearish than bullish. Only bullish when I have to be. But with the, you better pay attention to this with the, you're not so bullish. That's why I'd rather it go up, because so many people are going to get absolutely slaughtered. I'm telling you, I know it. And I'm not just talking you, Frankie Fresh. I'm talking about 95% of retail. See, retail's not meant to win. So when retail's beating their head through the wall and they have no liquidity, that'll be the time. And what it scared me yesterday, I said it and I'll say it again. That crypto fear and greed index going into the 60s is mind-boggling. That's too much. People got way too greedy on that move up. Way too greedy. I mean, they got way, way too greedy. And this is a real slap in the face to anybody who understands this metric. It went up way, it should not have done this. 4 days ago, it was at 28. We haven't gone nowhere. There's no reason to get greedy yet. What's happening is, what it means is that a lot of people that weren't positioned started positioning here. And a lot of people that were down and got back in the profits, or actually made profits on the move, didn't do anything. And now we've got too many people back in the profit recently. That's what it's telling me. See, like with silver, everybody keeps saying it can't go up more because everybody's in the profit. Well, that may be the case at some point. But you have to tell me, when do you see the U.S. dollar improving? Do you see the U.S.'s inflation problems going away? Do you see our debt problems going away? Do you see our deficit between import and exports going away? I see it getting worse. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go into this. And it doesn't look like silver, and we'll see a lot today, but it don't look like silver's getting ready to move. And I want to give you guys a heads up. If you're not in miners, and I can't, today I'm allowed to look again. I can't guarantee anything. I am not a financial advisor. But when I'm looking at things, I'm just saying, there's a very real chance that this is extremely undervalued right now. And I mean extremely undervalued. And you can't get confirmation until you break over like $4.84. But this pattern is very much coiling up. It's very much coiling up. And it back tested again, a very volatile level perfectly. And this is the actual, this was more like an ascending triangle in a sense, what it's trying to break out of. And you can lower it a little bit and have it lower, but I think this, where it was at right here, was very real, where it would get up to, couldn't get a pass, got up to again, couldn't get past, got up, couldn't get past. I think that's a real good way to look at this. Now, I could argue with myself and say, well, technically it's right there, which I think is actually better. But either way, the case remains that it is back-tested a very big breakout. And this does not look like a pattern that is done. This looks like we're getting ready for a huge move. The weekly is pushing back up. We've cleared space. If we just, I mean, fuck. It's coiled up. That's a coiled pattern. So I would love to hear everybody's interpretation. And I'm deep. I'm deep in B2 gold. So I'm not going to say how much, but I'm deep. When you want to say deep, oh, I'm deep. I'm deep. I'm deep. So you don't have to worry about if I own B2 gold. I am deep in B2 gold. But I would love to know what everybody sees in that pattern. This will be a good teaching opportunity. What do you guys think? What do you think? Remember when it had the artificial movement and we said, okay, we got to wait when it came up here? Well, now it created the big reversal. That's what we were waiting for. Little flag. I would love to know what everybody thinks. I know what I think. Nope, never buy any. I would never buy silver on eBay, Amazon, from Walmart. You got to go in the USA to JM Bullion. Scottsdale Mint are my two favorite. There's a few others, but don't go to anybody that. It's not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. Please be careful with that. Please. That's all I'm going to say. So that's the target I would go at for gold stocks right now. If I'm looking at it now, obviously we can correct, but I think we already have. And then silver, it's still Fortuna Silver Mines. I'm going to continue to look at Fortuna, and it's down a little bit today, which is normal. This is normal, but I would continue until, although, you know, one's going to argue when you look at this chart. Is it a rising wedge? Or is it a rising, and we're going to look at it. Because I could make the argument either way. So, Fortuna Silver Mines, are we in a wedge? A rising wedge? Or are we just in a very bullish upward consolidation right now? That is getting ready to have just a historical breakout just with where it's at in the pattern. The pattern suggests that we are breaking out, I mean, legitimately breaking out of an ascending triangle. And because we haven't caught up to the price of silver, I would say this would be a bona fide target going forward. Because I don't know if silver's done, honestly. I don't, Shanghai, it was well over 100 yesterday. I haven't looked today, but it doesn't give me the vibes we're done. That was a great dump off. Rare Earth Inks, that's right. I forgot about the USA Rare Earth Ink. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that we're actually in the midst of something special with a few of these miners? And I just told you two of them, and you guys can be honest with me. I mean, we could just be, we're on the precipice, right? We could be on the precipice. We could be on the doorstep right now. So I'm just curious. Now, you know, if we're breaking down here with Fortuna, that's something we have to watch. Or if we're breaking down a little bit with the rest of the miners, but this is seemingly suggesting like we're winding up for something historic in some sense. Rob, you missed buying silver. Should you buy the miners? That's the $1 million question right now. Because in 2026, I don't see by the end of the year silver and gold being lower than this, no matter what kind of consolidation there is. So the miners have earnings coming up, and once they have to revalue with the new price, I mean, they're going to be so undervalued again, it's going to be disturbing. So I'm looking for the ones that I think can have an impressive next layer based on their fundamentals where they're at, and the fact that they've been trying to break out of these levels for a very long time, and they've yet to do it. And like with Fortuna and B2, it's the same thing, but with Fortuna, it's been in the same consolidation for well over a decade. You know, you're talking about this goes back to 2016. It's been in this for 10 years, and it's finally breaking out. And it's doing it, is there volume? Like if we go into the monthly, is there volume in comparison to what? Yeah, there's volume. I mean, look at the difference in the volume from when this pattern started to now. And when it started to consolidate, the volume started tapering off a little bit. So makes it an interesting proposition here that it looks like we could be getting ready But I'm not a financial advisor. I just like to talk about the miners for a minute, you know, a moment. But that's our discussion today. So let's get back into crypto. XRP's fighting. Okay. It's trying to hold this consolidation, and if it does, we could avoid a big mess. We're still on this back testing area, so we haven't given it back yet. This could just be a volatile breakdown. We held this area, fortunately, at least right now. So we just have to make sure we're not giving this away. Now, is it getting dangerous and more dangerous by the minute? Oh, it is. Every time it breaks down like this, it gets a little more dangerous. Because we want to make sure we're not going to end up, and this is the problem, a B-wave correction here. If this is a 3-wave correction or an ABC to get us down to the falling wedge, I mean, this is basically like now the way it's doing this with legitimately a standard operating procedure. Then it would just be the question of, does it come all the way down to like here and back test, or does it, because it would have to come down maybe to maybe $1.89 to $1.92, and then it could come back up and retest the broken structure at $2, possibly. It's not even close to, no, it's not too late at all for silver. You're right about that. So here, let me pull out the here, hold on. Let's do this appropriately to make this make sense, so you can see what I'm trying to do here. Let's see where it's at after this. I don't know if I like it like that, actually. Because you'd have A and then B down. But it's not gonna do it the way we want. Although unless it's 1, 2. This would make it interesting if this is the case. Let's see. I'm trying to think of which one would make it look better. I don't think it's impulse though. The hell, we'll play around. We'll play their game a little bit. Let's just say it comes something like this. Is this possible? I don't know, I might be breaking the rules of the Elliott wave. I'm just trying to see what this is trying to show us. I'm really trying to see what this is trying to show us if this breaks down. Now, if it doesn't, because it's such a... Because unless you're restarting, if we're restarting, this would be different. But until it doesn't show us this setup, that could possibly be a head and shoulders. We have to look at it at some kind of correction right now because we're still in a downward pull. So we need it to pull us out of the downward pull so we can stop talking about this. No, they aren't. A lot of people are so unaware of what's going on with silver. It's weird. Let's see, Shanghai silver price. Let's see. Let's see. to see the benchmark. $91.70 for US. We want to see in Shanghai. $100.46 US. Then it was as low as 99.84. So we still have a little gap here of about $8. That's a gap nonetheless. I mean, that's a gap. Whoops. That's interesting, actually. Man, see, I mean, I feel like we're having a bigger breakout right now versus interesting. That's still way up there, huh? This is a wow. It very well could be. It very well could be. It very well could be taking a break. I mean, it looks like it, that the way it consolidated. I mean, if I was looking at it to clear out some steam, I mean, the target technically on that consolidation is $107, and the way it cleared out, I mean, that's very compelling if it wants to continue up. That's for sure. That makes a very compelling case with a strong double bottom, the back test on the 20-day, and now it looks like it's just continuing its journey. The daily time frame's got plenty of space to move. Like, it cleared itself out so good, it's actually scary how much it could run with how the daily looks, and it's moving up. The weekly can remain overbought for years, and the monthly. This is actually a better indicator. If you're trying to get a continuation, you want to see this pressure. This means that there's a lot of buying pressure, and you want to see, is the volume dictating the price? Look at the volume in this monthly now. This is the biggest monthly candle we've ever had. Again, we had, I mean, look how much this is increasing by the months. It's insanity. Look how big that candle, I mean, look how, well, I guess the volume right now, you can't say it is yet because it's still stacked up, but we still have, how many days are left? We still have the whole month left, so it doesn't look like the volume's slowing down to me. I don't know, this could, the worse this gets with silver, the scarier this gets for the world, in my opinion. Like, this gets really scary. I Hustle Harder Than You says they tried to push it down last night and chop back up. I went online to look at prices. They didn't move at all. Apex is still for 110 for Eagles. I know, that's the crazy thing. Like, that's another good indicator of what's going on here too. Like, if I go to JM Bullion and you look at the actual pricing, it's not reflective necessarily of a certain pricing. So, I mean, they have silver ask is at $92.36 right now, is what their asking price for silver is. So the fact that it's showing 91, it's at a premium right now. It's like the stuff that's attached to it is at the fact they're asking 92.36, and for gold they're asking 4,627. In gold, that's about $13 more. But for silver, it's at 91.62, but they're legitimately asking in real time for $92.36 per ounce. And then that's not the gist of it, though. Look, if you buy and this is going to knock my own socks off, because when I was doing this and buying them, you're talking 10-ounce bars were costing $140-something up to $260. Now a 10-ounce silver bar costs $987. Julie, do you remember when I was buying the 10-ounce bars for those couple years, and they would be like $140 or $200 for the bars for 10 ounces? Or I'd get 10, you know, the 10-ounce silver rounds, but I'd get 20 of them, and it would be like $320 or $440 for the 20 ounces. 10-ounce silver bars right now. The cheapest one is $987. That is unbelievable. Man, there's a lot of them out of stock too right now. Damn. That is crazy. So that means they're charging you $98.70, and that's if you buy a 10-ounce bar. So you're getting charged $98.72 per ounce. Let's just say we wanted to buy an ounce, buy one of them. Let's add it to the cart. I'm not signed in, I don't think. I just want to see what it shows, how much this is gonna cost. $1,039, $1,008 with crypto, $998 is what. So it's gonna cost me, with all the charges, with all the overages and everything, $998.10. 909, and I don't know, was the tax included on that? I don't think so. But yeah, so you're talking about $100 an ounce right now is what you're paying for silver. $100 an ounce. Oh, that if I go, oh yeah, you want me to show the premiums for an ounce? I don't think people want to see that. Yeah, I would always buy in 10 ounces because I'd get a better deal. But if you're talking about 1 ounces, we'll go to a 1 ounce. No, let's go to silver rounds for 1 ounce. You'll get a better price because silver bars are usually, there's not as many. Although I don't care which one it is. Whichever one was cheaper, I would buy. I didn't care. Although I do have a fancy for the silver rounds. Oh my God, it feels so stupid. But I remember buying the 2-ounce tokens and getting mad because they'd be like, silver was 21 or 18, and instead of it being 36, they'd be 41 or something. Now they're 100. I mean, 200. Hey, bud. Take that out of your mouth. Take that out of your mouth. Please. Thank you. We might have to take this in the other room, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're going to take this in the other room. This will only take a second, I promise. I want to talk about this still. Dude, I'm going to take this in Michaela's room. Yep. Yeah, you're okay.
I'm ready when you are. What's next?
Let's keep this on the chart. Be careful. Sister's room's a mess. I'm gonna finish this in here, Julie. Love you. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. But, you know, gotta do what you gotta do, right? I don't know how many people are still here. Let me turn this back on. Wow, 99 of you stayed. That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Let me turn this. Somehow I got the volume turned up on here. All right, there we go. All right, so let's get back to what we were talking about. We'll continue to watch XRP. Man, it just can't even get over $2.09 now. Or silver and gold real quick. Just so when we look at the spot price, we can make sure where it's at, like a representation of it. So 91.54 for silver. So everybody asked about the 1 ounce bar. So 1 ounce. Let's see which one's the cheapest. How's all this shit? We don't want no junk. We just want whatever's the cheapest. So I guess Be My Valentine would be the cheapest right now. Yeah, so we'll go with Be My Valentine. So if you do a check, $100.16 per, as low as $6.79 per round over spot. So it's almost $7 over spot. Whew. It's a pretty steep. That's pretty damn steep. I mean, it's like this though in these times. It really does get like this. But yeah. So everybody asked where to buy it. This is where I bought mine for years. I also used to use Scottsdale Mint when with crypto. They made it very easy. Very, very easy. Let's go back though. Because crypto fingering, man, that is so nuts how high it jumped up so quick. That is crazy, actually. Let's see what the long short ratio looks like while we still have a chance to talk together. 50.4% going long. Oh no, that's in the 4 hourly. We want to see the daily time frame. 50.74% going long, 49.26% going short. This is a stark contrast to what we were seeing. When it was going up, we've seen a lot more people shorting the market. Now there's 37.43 billion long, 36.34 billion short. A bull over $1 billion to the downside if the price goes of liquidations over the upside. That's interesting for Bitcoin, at least. Ethereum 49.87% long, 50.13% short. Pretty much $108 million if we go up. 33.5 billion long, 33.69 billion short. Not much of a difference in separation there. XRP 49.09% long, 50.91% short, 2.53 billion long, 2.62 billion short. So about, what is that, $9 million or something? Not a ton. Still a little bit. So there's a lot of back and forth here. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of back and forth here. Let's go to the heat liquidation real quick. No, not not this one. I guess this will work. Although I like the other one better, but I don't fit going back and forth. Oh my God, look at all that liquidation down here now. That's a lot. It's piling up down there now. I'm going to have to look through this. Hold on. I just want to see one thing real quick. That was this crap. Yeah, here we go. I was going to say, it seems like there should be more amount of volume down there, though. So let's go into the monthly here. What is this shit? I don't want to create anything in here. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of liquidation down here. Holy smokes. I would not be surprised. Man, this is fighting right now, isn't it? What the hell is going on here? Man, we are at such an interesting spot right now. Because we came up and grabbed all, I mean, we grabbed a ton of that liquidity. I mean, this is where if I was a market maker, I'd say, hey, we came up here and grabbed all this liquidity. Look at all that easy money we can come take. What the fuck? That's a lot. Look at all that liquidity. There's nothing down up here. There's basically nothing. It's all dried up here in the monthly liquidity candles. Look down here. This is insane. You got that's what I was saying before. There's so many people that are levered up to the top side. This could get very interesting if we don't in fact push up. Now, if we push up, it's all gravy for now. Because we do have that little cup. Man, when you have all that liquidity down there, it certainly makes a compelling case. Let's see if the 3-month will open. Jesus, now I'm gonna have to deal with that all the time. I mean, even when you pull this into the 3-monthly, you can see we came through this heavy liquidity area, and now it dries up. There's so much liquidity down. I dare do this in the 6-month when it always locks up. I'm going to go to the XRP heat map, I promise. I just want to take a look at Bitcoin first. Yeah, see, it always crashes when you try to do that, so... Ah, crap. Not that we can move in it when it's in the 6-month, but at least it was trying to show it. But welcome in, everybody. For everybody who stuck around, I appreciate it. I know this is not the fascinating stuff, right? So if we come up to the top of the cup here, let's just say, not the cup, but let's just say something is building up here. You got about 343 million. Now, would it go up there first and leave all this liquidity below? To get up there with all this dry space, it almost feels like if we grab this liquidity, it could give us some power to pull up. Who knows? I don't know. That's a big pocket, though. It's basically the monthly that you can see the best, but that's a big pocket. There's some pockets here, that's for sure. If we climb up high enough, That's it. That's the one I was trying to talk about yesterday. TD Bank. Remember, I was trying to show it yesterday that they were going to be insolvent if it closed over 85 for too long. Yeah, that's a problem. Oh, and this is going to keep happening. All of this is going to keep happening. So let's get Bitcoin back into the monthly so we can get an XRP. Ooh, I mean, look at that. There is so much liquidity down here. Even on XRP, the $1.80 it's lit up. That's right at the falling wedge. It's like I swear it's trying to tell us something here. Elmer Fudd, thank you so much for the first donation of any kind in this live chat. I really appreciate it. A super chat of $10. Much, 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 much appreciated. Thank you very much, my friend. I did not work for free during this live. I did not. So I mean that is dangerous, is all I'm saying. Like, we're in a dangerous spot. I think the title is appropriate. XRP slips into danger zone, loses $2.04, or lose $2.04 retest, falling wedge at $1.80. If that fails, down to $1.58, and that would be the literal make it or break it in the descending triangle that could possibly be built here. Sorry that 20% of the people left. Hell with this guy's shit. It's all looking like down. Why should we watch that piece of crap? I understand. I used to be like you. Well, they don't know because they already left, but I used to be like them. I don't want to hear what I don't want to hear. Why should I know anything about the assets I hold or my investment strategy kind of thing? Joseph, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. And a gifted sub. And Anthony Venegas, perfect person to get it. Anthony Venegas has been a part of the show for a long time. A lot of commenting and things like that. So, Anthony Venegas, congratulations on getting that gifted sub now. Your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Awesome. Very cool. I could look to see if XDC has it. If anybody's interested in live classes too, make sure you take a look in the membership area and see if it fits your agenda. If not, no hard feelings. No hard. I don't think they have one for XDC. That's why I don't show it usually. No, this one doesn't have it for XDC. They don't have it for all of them. It's stupid. But yeah, I mean, some of the positives if we did drop. I mean, a big positive would be we clear out some of this liquidity. I mean, we clear out some of this liquidity in a very real way. Oh, before I forget, which one was the other one? There's one more silver one that we have to talk about before I forget. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. So, First Majestic, and I know we've been covering it for a long time, but we're getting to an area now which is going to be parabolic spike zone. And you're going to have to pay very close attention to this as we progress here because we're getting very close. I've been waiting a long time for this, watching this chart, and it's going to be a dream come true when it happens. I've been waiting a long time. Just put it that way. Just been waiting a long time. So the only question is how do you do this? I think it's more like this, but well, we can argue the point later. But the point is usually go 70% of the move. I'd say we're pretty much there right now. And the significance of this is in an ascending triangle, these are bullish continuations. These are bullish consolidations. The significance of this breakout, and it doesn't seem possible, but it almost knocks my dick off every time I see this projection. And that's what I've been investing into it on based on this for years. This is why this is one that I would like to think I'll just let it sit here, regardless of if it comes back down or not. But the weekly's in a good spot. Daily's corrected a little bit. It seems like we went through a nice consolidation. It really seems like it's going to try to come up to like $24 here. But that's one that it could legitimately knock my what off. And it could knock everybody else's off too if you're paying attention. And we bought this at like $4, and I'm not going anywhere right now. I certainly didn't buy some of these at $4 and, a couple dollars just to get rid of it now before the big coup de grace. Because they're not caught up to silver pricing, and that's the thing I keep holding my hat on. I really do. But I would love to hear what some of you guys think about some of this stuff. I have a big passion with precious metals and miners and things like that. And since I couldn't talk about it yesterday, Julie told me I wasn't allowed to look at it yesterday, which I'm glad she told me that. Because look, we had a consolidation down and it already ate it up. Already ate it up. But we'll see. We'll see if it keeps eating it up, so to say. And then there was one more, Dolly Varden. If it's still under $5, I don't know if it is because it's been moving. This is another one that it's getting into that same kind of thing. We broke out of we got to redo this because it's not how it's supposed to be. Thanks a lot. Update. I don't like that update at all. Not at all. So, this was the best I could come up with when I did it before. And I think this, again, is like an ascending triangle. I think these are all in ascending formations that they broke out of. And you had a heavy resistance here. Resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3, resistance 4. Finally broke up over the 5th time. Back tested it. Created a low cup. And now it looks like it built out a V-shape inverse pattern. And now it looks like that next move is going to get us back up to the top over here somewhere. And the move out of this, like I said, I like to invest in things when I feel like they have a lot of potential. And this one, I mean, it's still building. It's been one of the least pushers, just like B2 Gold. This is suggesting out of here. I mean, either this is just never going to happen, or the other thing is we're getting ready for a real big parabolic spike, and the silver pricing is just going to unbelievable levels that we try to project, but even we can't imagine. Because that's suggesting $40 out of this ascending formation. Like, it's insane. Look, I lost like 20% of my audience trying to tell you guys about this, but hey, I'm okay at this point. I like talking about certain things. But there's also, the other possibility that, we don't continue on. And for whatever reason, gold, silver has a big drop. And then these can back test, these ascending formations, these breakouts. But I don't know. I'm not sure it feels like that. And I've been sitting for a long time. I don't know. Kind of feels like something to me. It feels like something different is happening to me. Obviously, I don't claim to be the smartest man in the room. But yeah. This is just what I see. This one, I promised yesterday I'd go through a little bit with a little bit of a conservative order with the miners, just so I could talk to everybody and we could actually talk about it, have a real conversation. Let's see. At this point, I don't mind. Could you look at XDC heat map? I wish I could. Don't worry. For anybody who's stuck around, we're going to get back into XRP and all of that. I do promise we won't just not talk about anything anymore. I was just trying to show some opportunity that, things that I see building over the next, so long. But as you can see, when I talk miners, when I talk silver, I lose a lot of my audience. So I have to. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't care as much about that anymore. Actually, I don't. I think the core members actually appreciate all things finance. All things finance, I think. So yeah, I think that's another thing that I'm getting better at this year. I honestly don't care, actually, for some reason. Anyone like the Pixies? So we got this. And if this goes the way we hope, if silver does go to the 117 or whatever, 107, it's going to be extremely bullish for miners. Because, you know, they're in these ascending style patterns. So when the trend consolidates, expect up until it's broken. Like with crypto, the trend's down, expect down until it's broken. You're literally on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to these miners and other things. So it's always something to consider, everybody. I know I do. I know I do. But I honestly, I think I have more faith in this kind of stuff than most people. Me and my brother built something and we're trying to see it through. But it's not a weeks long proposition. This is, you know, this is more like a years and years and years long proposition that we're trying to. Yeah, and if you guys are wondering, I see some about Dolly Varden. I do have 2,000 shares of it, so it's not like I don't have a stake in it, and it's not like I can't lose. You know, I did buy it a little bit down, obviously, where it was at from now, and I'm trying to see this through. But I have bought more when it dipped back down. I don't know when, if, and how, but I do know that I'm watching these very closely, and these are the ones I'll talk about at least in the short term. The B2 Gold, First Majestic, Fortuna Silver Mines, and Dolly Varden. These are my avenues of interest right now based on where they're breaking out of each and every formation I've shown you is breaking out of a decade, if not longer, ascending formation, ascending triangle. And those are here, let's just so you guys don't have to hear me kind of. And this is what's going to be very important in the class. If you want to know more about this stuff, and it takes a while to get to this point, but they'll be starting in February. I would love to have you in it. Look in the memberships only area. And so an ascending triangle is a bull. And it's one thing to be like, oh, well, you know, now I know. But you have to know how to see them in a chart. Like it's one thing to be like, oh, go look at what an ascending triangle is, but go pick it out of a chart. Because a lot of people confuse an ascending triangle with an ascending wedge, and it's very easy to confuse. So an ascending triangle, you're either going to have a base resistance where it's pretty close, where it keeps coming up to that resistance and failing, or it has a base support where it comes down and it keeps holding the support. And it's in an ascending fashion. You can also have an ascending wedge where now the downtrending resistance over the top. So basically you have lower highs and higher lows. In an ascending triangle, we're looking for basically steady highs with uptrending support is the best case scenario. Otherwise, an ascending wedge, you don't necessarily. So anyhow, that's what we're looking for a lot of this. And we're in these ascending patterns. And those are extremely bullish patterns. And this doesn't just have to do with if we're in mining. So everybody go, well, I don't want to learn about this. This happens for crypto too. This is all markets. Unfortunately, we've been here an hour and 10 minutes, so we can talk about this stuff. So an ascending triangle is a bullish chart pattern in technical analysis characterized by a horizontal resistance line, flat highs, and a rising support trend line, higher lows, indicating increasing buying pressure that typically needs to be a breakout above resistance, signaling a continuation or reversal to an uptrend. This pattern shows accumulation and buyers step in more aggressively with each dip, eventually overpowering the sellers. The horizontal resistance, two or more nearly equal highs form a flat horizontal top line showing sellers consistently capping the price. Two or more higher lows create an upward sloping trend line indicating buyers are willing to pay more each time the price drops, and that's the rising support. The converging lines, the horizontal and rising lines converge, squeezing the price into a smaller range. The decreasing volume, typically trading volume, falls as the triangle forms, showing consolidation. Now let's take a look at some of these. And I know these fit that pattern. I mean, I've been watching the volume portfolio. We can see in the, well, we're still within right now, so. Well, we're not even up there yet for this one, so that's a harder one to look at. Fortuna's come above it. And you can see the volume came way down as it broke above, right? You can see on the consolidation, volume came way down. And then for B2 Gold, after breaking up, you can see the volume started pushing down on the back trace. So, you know, these seem like, it seems like we're at that point now. You could actually say it's a little higher, but I don't want to make this price target too high with B2 Gold. I really don't. I just think, you know, came here, came all the way down, built up, came back down, built up, came back down, rejected, came up, back down, hit this, came back down. So this is your perfect meet point. One here, overzealous, back up, back around, back tested perfectly. And then this, it meets it as you go across, but it's going to take time. These all take time. But eventually it gets there. I mean, you can even take this up a notch. It all depends how you want to do this. But it's there. It's all there. It's all there for the magic. It's there for magic in the making. And some might go like this just because it came across. Some would go like this. It just all depends how you want to do this. It's just these things are building up in such a fashion that we're close. We're close. If this pushes up one more layer, there's a big blow up happening in a few of these that have been consolidating when others like Heckler are pushing up a little bit more, which is why I'm not going to show it right now because it's been pushing up harder and already broke out of these consolidations and moved up a lot more than these particular ones have. So I also already F them. Most of them placed all their hopes and dreams on crypto and didn't let hedge. Now they're mad, looking for hopium. I lost a good friend over this years ago. He lost everything on Doge. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Unfortunately, in finance, and it doesn't just drain pocketbooks. No, listen, John, what do you mean? We already back tested the move. We dropped down to 204 and we came all the way back up to almost 212. That back tested. We already dropped and came back up. So no, I don't anticipate just to come back up to get rejected. That already happened. That already happened. Yeah, so when people ask me, like, are you going to sell out your miners? No, not right now. I did take a little bit from some because I wanted to do the $7,500, as you know, to put into my tax deferred account because I have to do it every year. So that made sense there. But yeah, I'm not looking right. I don't think we're even near the peak right now. I really don't. I don't think we're at the peak yet. So I'm going to keep approaching it that way. If I got to take something down the road, I'll take something. But right now, I've got so much money on the sidelines in crypto because, as I talked about a couple days ago, I went more liquid because I base it on the fact that in the weekly, we were going to follow XDC. And once I got rid of XDC, it was easy to get rid of the rest once they got done. So, and I showed it in real time. I talked about it in real time. So I have a lot of liquidity here for the hunt. Because I believe that it's doing what XDC did, and XDC was giving us a golden ticket here to see it 1 week in advance. So I'm not sugarcoating it. That's what I did. And then the oil play, as I've been talking about, we have to be patient. I don't know if it's going to pan out, but I never rush into something until it does what I think it needs to do. So the oil play down 4.6% today as we're watching it to try to see if it pans out. Could still go right up. I'm hopeful that it would break down and break this formation and go volatile to the downside. The last thing the Trump administration wants is for this to, break out. And the way this coil looks, I mean, we'll see. Because I put it up like this because if this is a descending wedge, we're fucked. That means it's going to break out at some point. Our hope would be that it comes down into this part of the wedge at 48. And it gives us a stellar opportunity in these miners or the exploration companies. I can't get over this feeling that silver and gold are about to have another move up with the way they ate up this drop. Like, we might get through this daily candle, which is insane, and not be in the red. Like, you know how insane this would be that the winning streak is going to continue in silver with the drop it had? What would this be? 1, 2, 3, 4 days now after this push out. And if we break over 93, I mean, we have a technical target right now of $107.70. This was actually an ascending formation building. And it broke bullish. And that bullish target's $107. No joke. Like, there's no joke. And it never fell below $69 when it came down to the consolidation. Like, that's fucking crazy when you start. And then with the imbalance, we didn't come to 82 or 83, but we did come higher earlier in the day than it was when I was talking about the imbalance. So we didn't come to 82. So we didn't quite fill it, but we did come down to 86 from 93. That's a big clear out for another move up. And we've got such a distortion in Shanghai. Oh, man. I don't know what's going to happen here, but this is just bad for us in the U.S. This is an indictment on how bad things are getting, unfortunately. But we'll see. Yep, I hustle harder than you. Amen to that, my friend. Amen for that. I'm glad that I was able to, in some small part, play a role along with some of the other preppers. I really do appreciate that you would lump me in with some of those categories. That means a lot. And then if you look at over 1 year, Fortuna's up 249%. I mean, First Majestic, Fortuna's 139. Dolly Varden's only up 88%. First Majestic's up 249. B2 Gold's up 82%. So that looks like a big W consolidation there. And it looks like we've got potential here. Now, whether or not we actually take it and go from here, I think eventually we will go. I think B2 Gold is going to be in double digits before we know it. I do. I think $4.66 is so freaking cheap. The atomic weight of silver is 107. Holy mogolis. Isn't that funny that the target's 107? I don't think these things happen by accident. The cup and handle target was 93, but now the target we formed on the consolidation getting up there in the short term puts it to 107. It's exactly what happened with Bitcoin. The target was 111, but by the time it created the consolidation to get up there, it created a new target of 122 plus, and it actually at 126. It created a higher target. Like silver, we'll see. It's still got to make a new high, and it's still got to try to push over this barrier area. But if it does, and I don't like to keep looking at it, but we'll see how it plays out tonight. Silver is 47 on the periodic table, and Trump is the 47th president. How ironic. How ironic is that? So I got to go, though, but XRP breaking below critical support. This is bad news. If it stays below $2.07.7 in real, this is bad news in real time. The moment you break this $2.03, you invalidate this big setup. So it can't afford for that to happen. And if you break down this wall here, it's a problem. Because you could just come down here even and try to bet, but it becomes a slippery slope the farther down we go. So be blessed. I hope some of you will join my class for February. There's a lot more information in if you go into my YouTube channel, you just go on here and go to the memberships area. There is, if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade into the live classes. And then, there's 8 hours a month, 8 classes a month once we start, and it's going to be an ever-growing thing. You don't have to be live if you don't want to after the first week or two, because there's going to be a running data. You don't even have to be live to begin with because of the way I'm doing this. There's going to be a live database, so you'll be able to look at all of that and things like that, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. And then this is just a basic understanding of what's going on in the classes. So as you can see, we start with the why, the foundations of value, the evolution of money, the purpose of investing, market ecosystems, and the psychology of the trade before we even the gambler's fallacies, before we even get into the technical. So this is going to be maybe a several year journey for anybody who's willing to take it. But anyhow, that's it. Be blessed. Protect capital, but also, pay attention to see if we actually break this down or if this is consolidating and then we can actually get some kind of volatile spike. We'll continue to watch this. Right now, it looks